Welcome back, horror fans, cinephiles, and Giallo enthusiasts. This is Tanner Leeser, your host for all things Giallo and Giallo adjacent here on The King and Giallo, and it is time for another unscripted talking head movie review. This is for the 1970 spaghetti western pseudo Giallo film Ringo, It's Massacre Time, also called Wanted Ringo. Before I continue, let's do this right. All right, continue. Okay, so first and foremost, if you want to argue that a spaghetti western cannot be a Giallo, they're two very separate and distinct, that is totally fine. You don't have to watch this. I came across this movie in Troy Howarth's book discussing Giallo films, and there you go. So Deadly, So Perverse, Volume 1, 50 Years of Italian Giallo Films. And he brought this one up, and I have covered it on the channel in my Forgotten Giallo Films for 1970. I believe it was part 3. Here's the thumbnail for it. So a few interesting things that he says. So yeah, obviously it's really hard when you're blending genres, and I don't know how much this was trying to be like the Giallo films that were sort of starting to take shape at this period, because here's the thing. Even though this movie came out in 1970, the production actually began in 1966, I think. And I talk about this, and Troy Howarth talks about it. That's how I got the information. But production started, and Mickey Hargitay, who you would know from the 1972 Giallo film Delirium, he was in this, and he was originally the lead. And then, I believe he was originally the lead, and then he left, and or the director needed to look for further funding, and Mickey Hargitay had already left and was already doing different things, and so they had to cast then John Luis to come in and play the Ringo character, which, again, by the way, this is another one of those spaghetti western movies like Ringo, Sartana, Django, where this is an unofficial sequel, which Italian films did this all the time to cash in. They did it for American movies, and they did it to themselves even worse. They just cannibalized any franchise and was like, this is a Django sequel. There's like 50 or so Django sequels. So Ringo and Sartana were also not exempt from that. So this was kind of marketed that way. I don't know if that was originally planned during the production, but who cares? This is where we're at. So they brought in a different actor to take over this part, and instead of just reshooting everything, they just have it that Mickey Hargitay's character, Mike Wood, is like a separate character that you're following for like the first 15 minutes of the movie. And then you transition. They keep talking about like, oh, Ringo. Well, when Ringo gets here, and it's all related to like Ringo's brother. And then, John Luis comes in, who's Ringo, and travels into this small town. I'm going to be honest, I'm actually not really going to go that deep into the plot of this one. I will read the IMDb plot synopsis, which is: Ringo comes to a Mexican village searching for his brother, from whom he has heard no news. He comes with a sheriff who immediately has work on his hands, as those who get killed are certainly too many. And there's a lot of people getting poisoned. And yeah, and then there's this interesting thing that it's mostly in the beginning of the film. And I think it's in order to try and fix this narrative, which had to be changed on the fly years later because Mickey Hargitay was gone. But there's a lot of like monologues at the beginning, which I thought it was supposed to be Mickey Hargitay's character, but it's the sheriff. And it does come across as very like film noir, where it's like, I came into the village, or he came into the village and he was looking for someone. He talked to this person who da-da-da-da-da. It's interesting. It's very interesting seeing this in a spaghetti western. And I actually would have liked it to continue, to stay throughout, because it was an interesting device. They dropped it eventually. Once it was like, okay, Ringo's here, new character, new actor, we're good. Let's just finish this movie strong. But yeah, one of the many things I talk about in that Forgotten Giallo Films episode, as well as, like I said, Troy Howarth talks about in his book, is this movie is very disjointed. It doesn't really know what it wants to be. It knows it wants to be a spaghetti western at its heart, but it's got a mix of like crime elements and elements from this and from that. By the way, this is written and directed by Mario Pinzauti. Yeah, it's bizarre. And it's really weird watching a spaghetti western that is boring. And I have covered at least 3 at least 3 Western Giallo hybrid films on this channel. Usually they've all gotten Forgotten Giallo Films episode like acknowledgement, like that's where I covered them. And then I covered a spaghetti western, well, pseudo spaghetti western that Luigi Bazzani did, but that's kind of actually unrelated. But the point I'm trying to make here is that Troy Howarth acknowledges these films as they were blending elements that we were seeing in Proto-Giallo films, and they're not necessarily deliberate attempts to blend the genres, but the influences from this genre, this new up-and-coming genre, certainly found their way into this film. The better example, there's another one that I'm going to try to cover that I haven't seen yet, that's from 1971. The 1971 Western Giallo is Price of Death. And then the one in 1972 that I did see is called Creeping Death, or it's also called Kill the Poker Player. Now that one I did my ranking video, my tier ranking video for all the Giallo films of 1972. I believe I said that movie was worth seeing. It wasn't like a completionist only. I think I did say it was at least worth checking out. This one, though, I would say is definitely completionist only. Like, this isn't really even that enjoyable for a spaghetti western, and it should be, because it's like reading if you were to read the plot out, it does sound interesting. And it's like a murder investigation in a small Mexican town with gunslingers, and there's shootouts, and there's someone in the town in cahoots with whoever is behind all these poisonings. And then you get to the end, spoiler alert, and it's a witch is involved, like a bruja who's poisoning people. And so that on its own is interesting. And then like the last 5 minutes of the movie are interesting, especially the setting, but not interesting enough that it earns me to say that this movie is worth checking out. Obviously, I wouldn't ever tell you avoid this movie, don't watch, it's not worth your time, but I can't say do check it out. And a lot of people have uploaded this on YouTube. I'm gonna upload it myself just so you can find it if it gets taken down, because for whatever reason, that's fine. It is still available on YouTube. Like I said, there's like at least 4 or 5 different channels that have uploaded this movie, so it's not hard to find at all. It's just, should it even be that easy to find? It's not good. Troy Howard kept saying that this is a forgotten movie and it should remain forgotten for good reason. And yeah, I would say it would be really cool though if Vinegar Syndrome did a Western crime box set with this movie, which is the first. This is the first film you could say is a hybrid of Western and Giallo. You know, technically it started production in 1966. It premiered in 1970. 1971 had Price of Death, as I already said. 1972 had Kill the Poker Player, or Creeping Death, however you want to call it. I'd say you could put those 3 films out as a box set. It would be interesting. People would probably buy it. People who are fans of spaghetti westerns, people who are fans of Giallo, people who are fans of European, specifically Italian crime films would probably buy it. So there are enough of these movies that exist that Vinegar Syndrome could make a box set and get away with it. So that is interesting. Now, again, if your definition absolutely says, no, that's not a Giallo film, no way, shape, or form, that's totally fine and understandable. I wouldn't even say that this is a Giallo film. I would say, going off of my research in the book that Troy Howarth wrote, I would say, yes, it's worth seeing for a completionist in terms of the genre and its evolution and its impact on another very, very popular genre in the Italian cinema landscape. So that is interesting. Now, again, is this a full-fledged Giallo film? No, neither was Kill the Poker Player. I haven't seen Creeping Death, but I'm going to assume that one neither as well. But for whatever reason, all of these movies are, I believe, a crime mystery that is set in the Old West. And that is pretty damn cool. Pretty damn cool. So take that for what it is worth. I wish I had a little bit more to say about this movie, but I would just say that this movie kind of commits that egregious crime of, it's not even like terrible, it's just not interesting, not as interesting as it should have been. Like I said, I can't even say that this one had potential. I'd like to say it did. It did have potential in terms of the plot, but it really is just not worth your time unless you are a completionist. I don't like to ever say that, but again, I'm only saying that in terms of, because I will be doing, right when I'm done recording this, I will record a 1970 all Giallo films tier ranking, and this will definitely be in my F category. And so because I'm saying that, I'm reiterating it now. But again, do not ever, well, Tanner said not to watch it, so I'm not going to watch it. If you're interested, do check it out. It is available. It's right at your fingertips. All you got to do is look it up on YouTube. But like I said, I wouldn't necessarily, it's not long. It's only like an hour and 13 minutes. And if you watch it, faster, double time, you'll watch it and knock it out in less than an hour. So it's not all bad. If this movie was longer, it would be worse. But yeah, that's the thing, is if it was like hilariously bad, like Kill the Poker Player had some pretty wild stuff with a fake snake that was really clearly like a little toy snake thing on a string. Like that was amazing, just how bad it was. This didn't really have anything like that. But yeah, I was a little bored. The most interesting thing that I recall was like watching the guys ride into town, and they're riding the horses down a hill, and watching the horses try for the love of everything to not fall and break their legs. That was the only thing that I was really that was the one moment I was really like, oh shit, that horse is struggling to not eat shit right now. And I should not be more invested in that than your story. But anyways, thank you for watching. Do let me know if you did watch Ringo, It's Massacre Time, or what's the other title? Wanted Ringo. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what your thoughts are on spaghetti western giallo hybrids. I mean, you don't have to tell me if you think we shouldn't even have this discussion. Like that's I just feel like whatever. I get it. But in terms of this, like I think this collaborative endeavor, I believe this could have gone somewhere and given us some cool spaghetti western giallo hybrid films, but it just seems like there's a reason why, maybe, that the hybridization of these two genres never worked out. I want to say that I feel like it could. In the right person's hands, I feel like it could. If we were going back in time, Dario Argento might be able to pull something off because he worked with Sergio Leone. I have said this in a podcast I did with my friend, like, who are some directors that never made a giallo film that you wish did. I said Sergio Leone and Sergio Corbucci were the top of my list of, like, these guys made some of the greatest spaghetti westerns, and damn it, if they had just made like one giallo film, it would have been so cool just to see what they would have done. And Sergio Leone, I mean, his films are famous outside of, oh, you have to be into Italian movies. Like, you have to be into Italian exploitation cinema, all Italian genre cinema, to watch Django and The Great Silence and some of these others, Compañeros, Navajo Joe, or some of these others. You don't have to watch the Dollars trilogy, Fistful of Dollars, For a Few Dollars More, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, or Once Upon a Time in the West. So, damn it, if he had made one, that would have been pretty cool. Anyways, I'm meandering. But thank you for watching this. I hope this gave you something. Leave any questions, comments, curiosities, or concerns down below. I will get back to you. And beyond that, thank you for watching, as always, folks. And this is Tanner Leeser for The King in Giallo. And if nothing else, I'll see you next time. Have a good one, partners.
Pilar!